there'd be like 10 people out here. This is a lot more than that. For those of you guys that don't know me, my name is Nate Eimer. I'm a diversified teacher here at West Aurora, and I'm also the head football coach. When I started putting together this West Talk, one thing that I noticed is that I kept coming back to West Aurora. You know, for example, as a 14-year-old, I went to Holy Angels, K through 8, and my dad was actually the head football coach in Marmion until I was about 5 years old. So I had a lot of friends that went to Marmion. I had a lot of connections at Marmion, but for some reason, I ended up here at West Aurora. As a 27-year-old, I had a job at Oswego East in District 308. I loved teaching over there, I loved coaching over there, had a lot of great friends. Saw the head job posted here for football. I decided to apply. Luckily, they chose me, but again, I found myself back here at West Aurora. As a 29-year-old, my wife and I were living in Yorkville, and we were looking to move, and we chose to move to West Aurora in District 129. And then again, we're actually moving in a month. We chose to move again and stay in the district at 129. And then just last year, my wife, she had a great job in Thompson Middle School and Oswego School District. She chose to come and interview for a job at Herget. Luckily, they chose her ahead of Herget Middle School. All right. So again, find my whole family in here at West Aurora. So in the words of our athletic office, if you haven't seen it yet, I'm all in to being a Blackhawk. So here's the deal, guys. I got 5 minutes. I'm probably down to 4 minutes to give you something that motivates you to the second half of the school year, that motivates you just to get you through the day today. So I would tell you as a coach and a teacher, this is probably the most pressure that I've been under. So bear with me here, all right? Guys, I want to tell you something. Like when I was going through my jokes and I was worried about people laughing, like you guys are off to a great start. So here's a great advice that I got about this deal, because I was real nervous about doing it, and somebody said, hey, you got to talk about what you're comfortable with, okay? So guys, the thing that I'm most comfortable with talking about is our football program and our football culture, okay? I'm very proud of it, and I think it's extraordinary, okay? And it's not just me, it's all the people that are involved in it. So 2 things that come with that. I know that when I just said, hey, I'm going to talk about football, a lot of you probably rolled your eyes and said, what does that have to do with me, okay? Bear with me, all right? I think there are some things that are relatable to what you do on an everyday basis. Number 2, a lot of you are probably sitting next to my assistant coaches in the audience. I'm gonna put my email up here when we leave. If any of them tell you that our culture isn't good, you let me know as soon as we leave, okay? Because step 1 in developing a good culture, strike fear in your employees, all right? I'm kidding, all right? This is awesome. Did not expect you guys to laugh this much. Number 1, so we have 4 things that I really think, kind of sell our culture, okay, kind of emulate our culture. Number 1, control what you can control, okay? Now this one I don't necessarily tell my coaches, I don't necessarily tell our players, I just hope it's something that, from my example and the way that we go about the way we do things, they follow suit. And it really goes like this. Guys, we don't control how big our kids are. We don't control how fast they are when they get here. We don't control what kind of football knowledge they come in with, okay, when they get to our high school. We don't control what their home life is like, okay? But what we do control as coaches is we control our attitude and our effort every day in practice. We control what position we put those kids in on Friday nights. And we control what we emphasize in the weight room and how we emphasize the weight room. Okay? And we control what character, we accept on an everyday basis. Now that should kind of sound familiar. Like in a classroom, I don't control whether or not my kids show up to class. I don't control what kind of background knowledge that they come in with. But what I do control is my effort and attitude every day in class. Okay? What I do control is the fact of what I teach, okay, and the concepts that I choose to teach and how I teach it. So number 1, control what you can control. Number 2, and I think some coaches will start nodding their head when I say this, don't be a problem solver, not a problem maker, okay? I always tell my coaches, we have a lot of problems in the football program, everyone has problems, okay? And I just say, if you come to me with a problem, you need to come to me with you wanting to be a part of that solution, okay? So here's my challenge to you. And I always like to have concrete things when I leave speeches, so that's why I did this, okay? Write down 3 things that you see in your everyday culture that are problems, okay? But with those, write down 3 things, okay, on how you're gonna help be a solution to that problem. And here's the thing that might strike a chord, sorry. If you can't find a way that you're a part of that solution, it's not your problem. And I'm gonna tell you guys something, okay? That will, your everyday culture, your personal culture, that will help it, I promise, okay? Number 3, nobody's laughing anymore. Number 3, and this is one that I really got taught, and it's this. If people, that you're around are doing a great job, or you appreciate them, make sure you let them know about that, okay? I learned this from a coach of ours. He probably doesn't even know it. But 4 years ago, believe it or not, guys, I wanted to quit teaching and coaching here. Dr. Ruby and Laura probably didn't want me to say that. But it's true. It was tough. I remember the night we had lost the game 49-0 at Wheaton Warrenville South. It was 42-0 at half. For those of you who don't understand football, that's not good. We were on our way to a 1-8 football season that year, and to be honest with you, those kids were probably one of the hardest working groups I've coached here in 7 years. But that's just the way it works sometimes. And I remember that night after the Wheaton Warrenville South game, I got a text from a longtime coach, and it just said this. It said, listen. I don't know if you guys ever talked to a coach, but we always start with listen. Listen, okay? But to tell you to listen. It said, listen, Nate, you're doing everything that you can. Keep your head up. If you go down, we're all going down with you. And I'm going to tell you something. That had a tremendous impact on me for the rest of my life. It taught me this, number 1, and then I'll get into kind of the 3rd thing, but I think this is important to say out loud in front of all you guys. You want your culture to change, you want to find the right people to be around you, the characteristic you should start with is loyalty. Because the reason that I think that my staff is the best staff in the state, they're loyal. Okay? Yeah, we're doing great now, but it was not always good. And those guys have stuck by me the entire time. Okay, so start with loyalty. The second thing that it taught me is this. Make sure that you are letting people around you know that they're doing a good job. Okay? And what I do is, if I see my coaches do a good job, I shoot them a text right away. I shoot them an email the second that I appreciate it. Okay? And I'm going to tell you guys something. That matters. Okay? That will make a huge impact in what you're doing. And there's no excuse to not do that in this day and age. It takes 15 seconds to do a text message. It takes 30 seconds to write an email, unless the internet's not working. Okay? I thought that would be a louder laugh. That's a big part of it, letting people know that. And the other thing I want to share with you guys is, after we went 1-8, I don't know where this is going to resonate with you, but I think it's important to say. After we went 1-8, okay, a lot of people came up to me and said, Nate, you got to change this coach. Nate, you got to do this. Nate, you got to bring this guy on your staff. Yada, 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 yada. I'm going to tell you something. After that 1-8 season, I made 0 changes on my varsity staff. You know why? Because I learned that those guys were loyal. And those are the people that you do special things with, okay? Number 4, day by day. If you guys follow our program, that's our motto, okay? We talk about it all the time, What does it mean? I don't know, it just looks good on a t-shirt. No, kind of what it means is this, and I'll try to give some context so it makes sense. We play Larkin next year, our first game. We have a lot of things going on in the summer. We want to win a conference title. This could possibly be next year one of the best things we've ever had here. But my brain, the way it works is we had a certain number of guys in the weight room on Friday. I hope tomorrow, and we need to find out a way tomorrow to get more guys than that in the weight room on Wednesday. In the classroom, right? We have, these big tests coming up, right? The big ACT. We want our kids, to do so well on that, hit a certain mark. But I try to focus as a teacher just every single day doing the best that I can. Okay, because I'm going to tell you something. Goals and all that stuff is great, but if you're not focusing on doing the best job that you possibly can every day, you'll never get there. And even if you get there, you didn't go as far as you could go. Okay, there's a quote, and I'm going to mess this up. Okay, and I can maybe put this in. All right, but there's a quote. Okay. By a famous Pittsburgh Steelers coach named Chuck Noll, and this is what I think emulates day by day. You know, champions don't do the extraordinary thing, okay? They do the ordinary things better than anybody else. And I think that kind of emulates what day by day means. So as I kind of close up here, guys, I just want to give you a couple of things. You know, number one, I have people all the time ask me about, you know, how'd you change things around? What'd you do? How'd you do this, coach? How'd you go from 1-8 to 9-0? And there's really two main things. Number one, talent. Okay, guys, your classroom will be better when you have more talented students. But number two, you know, and if you have two really fast twins, hand them the ball. Right? Number two is this, you know, people. You know, get the right people around you, okay? Make sure that you show those people how you want things done. You know, a leader doesn't have to be the loudest person. A leader has to be the hardest working person, okay? And a leader has to be the one that wants to show people how to get things done. And you don't have to be in a leadership position to be a leader. Okay? And then number three, make sure you show those people that you care about, okay, and that they're doing a good job. It does not take much in this day and age. To kind of sum things up, you know, guys, just a couple of things to remind you about our culture. Number one, control what you can control. Number two, I'm telling you, I'm challenging you. Write down 3 things in your everyday culture that aren't good, okay, that are problems. But then write down 3 ways that you're going to be a part of that solution, okay? Number 3, funny, I did this speech last night and I forgot number 3 too. Number 3, make sure that you're showing the people around you that you care about them and that they're doing a good job. And then number 4, you know, that day by day attitude, okay? You know, be in the moment, be present in the moment. Guys, this was an absolute privilege to be in front of you today. Thank you so much and go Blackhawks.